This will be the first and only time that you can be referred to as 5-0 because you're 5-0 right now.
Dad jokes. All day. Every day.
Carrying on.
Yep.
I don't understand.
So I didn't quite get it either, but I
5-0, referring to police.
No, I know that refers to police, but why am I 5-0?
Because the 50th
50th
episode.
episode.
Oh, my fucking shitters, man.
Dad joke.
Right, anyways.
Yeah, wow.
I'll draw you a diagram next time.
Flow charts?
Defund the police. We don't got no money, though.
So defund this episode?
You could if you want, but
Yeah.
what's 0 subtract from 0?
-1.
That's your math is on point.
Yeah.
Speaking of on point,
We just so happen to be filming this episode on Friday, September the 3rd? 4th. Which also happens to be the day that the season 2 of The Boys comes out on Amazon Prime.
Fuck you.
Noise.
And so for that, we thought that we would talk about some of our favorite comic adaptations that turned into TV shows.
yeah. Who we start with?
Sandy, we'll go.
Oh, wow. Really put it on me.
Just like
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
He-Man doesn't count.
Damn it. Okay.
Well, he was a show that went to comic. That
Yeah.
went back to show.
It does.
Well,
have to be
technically, he was a
comic
toy
that went to
first,
a show.
and the comic came with the toy, so technically...
Well, 1,000 fucking Glavins, but you can't pick He-Man.
Damn it! I'm not going to say Titans, because that second season was rough. I'm going to go with Dresden Files.
Seriously?
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Like they made a lot of changes, but how the cast really made the show, and I can't remember the lead actor.
Isn't that an old TV show?
Yes, and it was also based on a book.
Comic.
I don't even know what you're talking
It does
about.
have a comic. It does have a comic.
Yes, it does.
He's
have
like a magic detective. He's one of
Yes.
them dudes that's like, yo, fuck everybody.
and his magic wand is a hockey stick.
But did the comic, what came first?
The book.
Well, the book, then the comic, and then the TV show.
So it's a TV show based on a book. Okay,
book.
Sandy disqualified again.
Kind of like, come on, we gotta give it to him, man. If he wants to associate a novel with a comic book, that's fine. Most of the times, people don't think they're the same. So let's just roll with this one.
All right. Well, Riddick, what do you got?
That might be all agree. I personally,
Files.
I would say it might seem a little unconventional because it's not a live action, but Batman the animated series. I appreciate Batman. I appreciate
Like
the
the old
style.
school one in the 90s?
No, yes.
So
So the style in which it was drawn, the story arc, like I mean, they're independent episodes, but it was really true to theme, and I did like the way that they stylized some of the like Clayface, Man Bat,
Yeah.
like it just how they made it their own, but at the same time it still remained Batman. So
Well, and plus it created a lot of iconic roles out of that. Like you have Mark Hamill as the Joker. Like,
Well, wasn't that also where Harley Quinn first popped up?
she popped up in the comic book first,
Okay.
Yes.
but the comic came after.
No,
the show.
from my understanding, she popped up in the show first.
Yeah,
But it was the Adventures of Batman show. I don't think it was the same Batman show.
Yeah, I think it was the comic, and then she kind of made up, but I could be wrong.
Okay. Good choice. Good choice. For mine, I'm going with 2 here because I couldn't quite make a decision. I went 1 live action, 1 animated. For live action, I really like the Daredevil Netflix series. It had its ups and downs. There's definitely some low points in that, but overall, I really liked it. And then for animated, I actually picked the 90s X-Men show, which I am looking forward to going and rewatching when
Spenny, what year were you born?
97.
That's how good that show is.
Yep.
Yeah.
I find the animation rough. I
Oh,
find
yeah,
I
it
find it
is.
hard to watch.
The later seasons, like near the end when it was like Apocalypse, when he gets into the Nexus or whatever.
But
I found the animation was getting pretty lackluster there, but like the beginning portion, like when it was like
Plus, you got the greatest meme of all time from that fucking show, with Wolverine looking at the Jean Grey picture.
Oh my god!
but even then, like the theme song itself is enough to just get it up there. Like it's iconic.
Yeah.
Yep. It's better than the X-Men anime. Shaka!
Oh my god.
The start to the X-Men anime, the Japanese one.
Yeah.
Really quick here. just to interject because I don't like being wrong. So when I'm right, I definitely like to show it off. The character first appeared, Harley Quinn, in Joker's favor, a 1992 episode of Batman the Animated Series. So I was wrong about the different series in the first one, but I was right about the cartoon being her first appearance. It's because it always, she stuck out kind of weird for me, man. Because then after that, then they did it in the New Adventures of Batman Adventures number 14.
Yeah.
14, and then
She
there
went
was,
over so well on.
and then there was a one shot, the Mad Love. They did a one shot annual kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, that just leaves you.
yes, and since I'm a hater, I ain't gonna list my favorite fucking comic show. I'm gonna list the ones I hate the most, which is probably Punisher season 1 and 2 because they're fucking trash. Fuck you, Netflix, you fucking demonic bastards. But you know what? You're not that bad because Disney still exists, so fuck them too.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Good.
What did you think of Punisher's appearance in Daredevil though?
Amazing, absolutely.
Yes.
But that's why I hate Punisher so much because what he did in Daredevil was so Punisher, and then he went into like emotional sure. Like I don't get it. Like the guy was raising another family in this. I've never seen this dude raise a family in any comic book I've ever fucking read except his own. And they fucking died. And when they died, Frank Castle died. And then so many people in the fucking show just call him Frank. It pissed me off. It's like, who the fuck is Frank? I'm not watching a show about Frank. I'm watching a show about a dude named the fucking Punisher.
Yeah.
But whatever.
The Frenisher. Because he
Punisher,
spent so much time making
I
friends.
swear to God, season 3, this motherfucker's crossing over with My Little Pony. and they're gonna be like, yo, you too soft.
He's
Let
one
me
step.
ride you.
He is one step away from a Care Bear. He's got a skull on his,
Yeah.
on his
Yeah.
chest instead of like.
All he has to do is start like popping it off.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
But yeah, so we will be watching The Boys season 2. So come back next
For sure.
episode for our review of that season.
Mm-hmm.
I've got high
next
expectations.
episode, Spenny.
Oh, we're just done.
Actually, I don't even know what to call it next. New season?
Episode 1.
Fucking, we're in a different multiverse next year, either. That's all I'm trying to say. The next episode is going to be in a different multiverse. We're going to multiverse.
Yeah, it'll be a very similar looking multiverse, but it's different.
Yeah, we're going to DC the fuck out of this shit. So,
All right, but moving on. All of us this week dragged our asses out to the theater to go watch New Mutants.
to go pay and watch New Mutants.
Yeah.
We're going to do the math alleyway.
But yeah, after like 2 years of delays, it finally got released. I guess because they wanted to make it when it underperformed, they wanted to make it look good, so they released it when COVID, when everything's underperforming.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, got a pretty like big ensemble cast. You got like Maisie Williams, Anna Taylor-Joy.
You got a big ensemble if you can't afford a big ensemble cast. Yeah, for sure.
Well, because there really was only 8 speaking parts in the whole movie
Yes.
as well. So,
Yeah,
so
like you're talking about characters with lines. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
7 if you really want to include Sam Gotham.
Yo, don't do him like that. Come on.
He did himself like that. So, okay, so what are we going to go? Like, who got initial thoughts here? Why is everyone
Okay,
sad on the
so
toilet?
before I give my initial thoughts,
Yeah.
spoiler warnings.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
There's gonna be spoilers. It's unavoidable.
Yes.
With us.
but those of you that don't leave your house anyways, you won't be able to see it. So you might as
Yeah.
well hear it from us.
Yeah,
But
Good point.
So the
Valid.
basic setup for the film is that the New Mutants have been taken to this facility run by some shadowy organization where they are supposed to be contained while they learn how to manage their mutant powers.
Yeah.
And then some spooky, scary stuff starts happening, and everything's not what it seems to be.
Yes. That sounds like you're trying to go spoiler.
free.
So
Well,
they-
I mean, like, just because there is going to be spoilers doesn't mean I have to purposefully.
yeah. So
shove
they
it
do
out
step away from the origins of the comics New
Oh,
Mutants.
for sure.
And which is right here in this issue right here. This graphic novel is where the mutants first appeared, and then following this kind of one shot, then it premiered in their own debuted in their own series
Did Chris Claremont invent all of them?
Yep.
Yes.
So
Holy
of the
fuck, he did
five
them.
of the 5 New Mutants, 4 of them are in the movie, and four of them are in the movie.
Yeah.
One is absent, and the one that is absent is the one that actually appeared before this issue, and it appeared in Marvel Team Up back in the day. So it's a little bit of a departure, whereas in the original a story from the comics. Professor X kind of assembles these mutants that are they're manifesting their mutant abilities, whereas in this one it's a doctor in kind of a almost like an asylum. She's like in a residential facility where they're locked there. You know, don't want to use the word imprisoned, but she's there for their own safety and for the safety of other people, because they don't know how to control their powers. They're being kept there until they can control them.
Yeah.
And the kids themselves think there's that it's in preparation for them to become X-Men.
Yes.
Yeah, they definitely think it's Xavier's secondary school for fucking not so gifted mutants.
She just keeps, the doctor keeps referring to her superiors, and all to refer to my superior, and they just naturally assume that it's Professor X is the superior.
But the main, like the 5 new mutants are Danny Moonstone or Moonstar. Ileana Rasputin, Magic.
Yeah.
And then we've got Cannonball.
Sam Guthrie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sunspot.
Yep, Roberto DaCosta.
And Wolfsbane.
Wolfsbane, and that's Rain Sinclair.
Yeah.
Rain on me.
Yeah, so they definitely did take like a couple liberties with like some of the characters' backgrounds and how their powers worked, but I think it came together fairly well in the movie.
Oh, the appearances were kind of like taking a little bit of creative liberties, but particularly with Cannonball and with Sunspot, but they acted in the way they should act. I would say they were consistent, with the exception of Wolfsbane, who there's a bit of a forced romantic relationship in the movie that this is out of character and just works against her character, really.
And Magic. I think they made Magic a little bit too cuckoo. She's cold. She's not super cuckoo. So they made her like really fucking cuckoo.
Yeah, it was kind of like she makes her appearance like as the person everybody wants to hate, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like she has no empathy for anyone, and so but I mean I enjoyed it. I was again there was a lot of warning flags, you know, that it was pulled a while back. They were going to do reshoots, then they scheduled it, and then the COVID took it away. And then even in recent months, they were talking about going direct to online and not even have a theater appearance. And so those things were not things that kind of boost your confidence in it.
Yeah.
It has been quite the journey to get to this point.
But I think I enjoyed it, and I don't think again, because it's in the theaters right now, I don't think it'll really get the reception until it's online. I think there's people that will stay awake because, like me, they heard all the bad press. But when it's free on Disney Plus or whatever the service they use,
Oh, it won't be free.
Whatever service they use, I think it'll catch a second wind, much in the vein of because there are a lot of similarities in tone, say, to like Stranger Things. You have like these teen characters, there's some kind of things. So there's stuff going on, and I think, and also that one of the who plays Cannonball is in Stranger Things, so there's a link there. So
I tried to slide you off of that, Riddick.
but it will. I think there will be it will gain momentum.
Yeah.
Like a cult hit type of deal.
But
big in the screens, but big in the fucking
the hearts and minds
of the internet. Yeah.
So I think to talk about one of the coolest things from the movie though that they did, even though it's never going to go anywhere because the Fox movies are done, we're going to have to get into actual spoilers for sure now. So you've been warned. But the big corporation that is running this place is the Essex Corporation, which is run by Mr. Sinister.
Yeah, Nathaniel Essex.
Yep. Well, which I thought, like, oh my god. So, like everyone else, you're made to believe that they're going to become X-Men. And then when the doctor goes on the computer and gets the email back from headquarters, assuming it's Mr. Sinister that she's getting the email.
Sinister she's talking to, but yeah.
Yeah. So, and then you see the Essex Corp. I didn't notice this. When we were in the theater, I didn't notice this right away. But when the doctor comes back for Danny to terminate Danny, He's like, yo, look, Sandy. He's got a pin on. And it's the Sinister, like, diamond that he normally has on his forehead.
It was a different she just pulled out the different lab coat.
Yeah.
She had like the plainclothes lab coat, then she had the company lab coat.
Just to drive it home that it's Sinister. You know, it's like, here, I'm going to put on the pin now.
But you know what, man? The more I think about it, the more it pisses me off that this isn't actually part of the growing
MCU.
steps of the next X-Men. Yeah, exactly. Whatever you want to call it, installment. Because I've been saying it from before they put Apocalypse in the fucking movie. They should have put fucking Sinister in there, because Sinister's probably the best type of fucking villain you can have for the X-Men right now, because he's not someone that you necessarily beat up with punches.
No.
Right? And then the X-Men right now are just get over this fucking human shit. Like, I think it's a bit of a mistake the way they like ran it to death in the comic book series. You know what I'm saying? Like, to this day, humans and mutants, they don't know how they feel about each other, which is kind of fucking ridiculous. But like, you know, establish that it's an uneasy relationship, and then start moving into other things, and now start showing why it's an uneasy relationship, because a dickhead's like fucking goddamn Sinister, and Sinister is just a dope ass villain.
Yes.
And who does Sinister work for?
Apocalypse.
Right, so then you got like a nice transition into some pretty fucking crazy story arcs that, you know, you can develop some really good things out of that. Especially, like, imagine if Angel did the actual thing that happened to him where it was Sinister who pulled him out. Well, I guess it was Apocalypse who pulled him out, but you know what I'm saying? You had Angel transition properly in one of the movies. You take him away out of one of the movies, you make him think he's dead, and then he pops back as Archangel.
Well, and that was the whole thing, too, was, like, even in the comics, it was Sinister that helped create the Archangels.
Yeah, well, Sinister helps creates everything for Apocalypse.
Yes, the Horsemen.
Kind of the thing.
He helped create the Horsemen for Apocalypse.
Yeah, but it was still under Apocalypse's thing.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't. But you know, Sinister's the type of motherfucker. Like, the coolest thing I thought he did was run around. He was trying to get a world library of DNA for mutants.
Yes.
Just so he can continue to do his fucked up experiments. But like, he's a great villain to have, and you can keep going with that horror content. So I was kind of upset because, like, you know, overall I didn't think the movie was like crazy, but the way they portrayed the powers of the mutants was really good.
Yes.
You know, Cannonball is a little bit on the weirder side, but none of us are super Cannonball experts, so we don't know for sure. But like,
it was, you know, it was an unconventional. Like, they had their powers, but they never wore costumes, right? And again, in a lot of the superhero shows that we see now, or movies, more or less, they're already like matured. They already know what their powers do. They're already kind of, so this is kind of, they're stumbling. They're a little bit awkward. They're stumbling in that. But I always had a bad taste in my mouth, Mr. Sinister, because of that first costume where it looked like there was just big long feathers coming out. But
I kind of like that because it's a very descriptive of
it was like
character.
It was like Dracula with feathers.
I like it.
He was like Elton John, but a supervillain.
He is Elton John if he was Dracula.
Yeah, exactly, man.
So I enjoyed it. There were some things, again, did feel like there's probably some areas that if a comic professional went through, it would have tidied it up and tightened up some of those holes and some of the plot lines that never went anywhere. But I was expecting it not to be great and was happily surprised.
Yeah.
But can we talk about like the demon bear in the room? Because like that bear, what is with Marvel and every native character that they have has to deal with the demon bear.
I don't know, man.
Like, it drives me nuts. You have like all the gods, like the Native American gods.
Name me three.
Tanarak.
Let's go, Sandy.
All of them. You got all of them.
I know, like there's 100 or so.
Just give me 3 animals.
Wolf god.
No, Tanarak.
Wild buffalo.
I mean, maybe if he says that name 3 times, it'll start to count.
Tanarak. God damn it! All I remember is Tanarak because all I think about is Sasquatch.
It's the hottest god alive, man, because he spits hot fire.
That's There
you go.
But
that's why they use Demon Bear, Sandy.
Wow.
Sorry.
He's generic.
No, okay, let me ask you something then, Riddick.
Yeah.
How come they didn't use Wendigo?
Because they're saving that one for
Wolverine's
movie.
the only person Wendigo fights, Wolverine or Hulk.
Yeah.
Or Weapon H, because you can't think of anything else.
But
how come no one cares about Wendigo?
But anyways, all right, Sandy, scale of 10, what'd you think of the movie?
I would give it a 5 just because it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. Like there was definitely room for potential. like for sequels and stuff like that. But like, yeah, it wasn't great, so I'll just leave it at a 5.
I would give it between a 7 and 8, so 7.5. I think had someone come in and touched up the script a little bit better, it would have been like an 8 or a 9.
I'm right around with Riddick, but I'm on a solid 8. I think there's definitely issues with the movie, but I think overall it was just something different from like your standard Marvel fare, which was really nice. It was refreshing. And then on top of that, Riddick kind of touched on it, but like it was just really well acted. Like I had no complaints about the acting. It felt really good. So yeah.
I too am with Riddick. If someone came to the theater and touched me up a little bit, I'd be fucking happier with the movie. And I'm not gonna give it a rating.
Better than Punisher, apparently.
It was a lot better than Punisher. Okay, any of these kids, they could have been a Punisher in the Punisher series, which really doesn't make any sense. But yeah, I don't know. It was good. It was okay. I don't want to sit there and give it a rating, and then fucking ratings is just too confining of my feelings. So.
All right. Well,
it was okay. I would definitely not pay for it again. I don't even think I should have paid for it the first time.
Yeah. But so we mentioned how this movie had some delays because of COVID, and there's another movie that just yesterday was announced is going to be having some delays.
Yeah.
The Batman. Apparently he has COVID. Yeah. Robert Pattinson.
Gadgets.
So yeah, so they've had to shut down production again.
Yeah.
There was reports earlier in the week that it was shutting down production because a cast member, but then Vanity Fair came out and outed that it was Robert Pattinson. So, I don't completely. I mean, it just happens. Like, don't completely understand because is the fear that it's spread through the crew because not every scene is going to involve Robert Pattinson.
Well,
and oftentimes they have two crews that are like two. One group is doing one thing while another group is doing another.
Maybe it was just the filming schedule. I don't know.
Maybe it was a little bit more devious than that, though, Spenny. Maybe these guys looked into the last couple of movies that came out, and there's all this talk about second wave of COVID. Maybe they just bought themselves some time to figure out whether they should release it digitally or wait for theaters to be up and running again at full capacity.
Well, when was the theater release date supposed to be?
October 1st was the last stated release date.
October 1st, 2021.
Yes.
So a year from now.
Yeah, so that might be dicey.
But that's what I'm saying. But if you go back to we don't know when we're going to release it.
Yeah.
But plus on top of that, these DC digital demons have been going around crazy, going on infesting the internets with the zeros and ones and trying to get comic books into the zeros and ones. Like, no, we don't really know. Look,
we don't really know what they have.
Dude, I don't even think rich people can get AIDS. You mean to tell me this motherfucker got COVID? How's that possible?
It's easy to fix. You just shred up $200,000 worth of cash, cold hard cash, put it in a blender and drink it.
I'm just saying, why is it that celebrities got to get COVID right when they're promoting something? You know what I'm saying? Like,
because they're always promoting something, more or less.
But how come they don't have AIDS?
All right. Well, since we're already pointlessly speculating about things, Riddick,
there's a point.
I believe you have some things to pointlessly speculate about.
I got some. So last episode, we gave Sandy the floor to talk about what he would change in comics. And I came out not understanding anything else.
Riddick's here just to really hammer home how much of a mistake that was.
Yeah, it was kind of like we need
owe you money.
we need longer story arcs, but done in single issues. I think is kind of what it came down to.
Yeah,
I like the idea.
I like it. It's on crack.
Keeps it fresh.
So the torch was passed on to me from Falling Hands. And so I got where I'm giving my 2 cents here on what I would do if I could to fix comics. And again, I'm not talking about the independents. They kind of are going to act independently, which is okay. We're talking about the two bigs, Marvel and DC. So I kind of looked back to my history in comics and reflected back to the 80s, then versus now. What has changed? And one of the biggest things that has changed has just been the amount of comics that are being printed and distributed. And not just with the comics themselves, the amount of the variants that are distributed as well. So I looked through, and just to give you some ideas, I went by September numbers, and in September, DC has 47 titles in monthly production. Of those, 34 are regular titles, and 13 are limited series. Some are 6, some are 8, some are 10, some are 12 issues. But altogether, there's 47 comics. Marvel can't be outdone. So Marvel itself has, in September, 69 monthly titles in the queue, of which 40 are regular and 29 of them are limited series. My proposal would be that Marvel and DC both drop those numbers to 24 regular titles with 6 additional limited series. And the caveat being that you only have 6. You don't start a new one until one ends. Yeah. And the same, I would withdraw the variants unless they're very special occasions. They're just doing variants for no reason right now, just because people like variants and people think they're gonna make $1 million off the secondary market, but it's not affecting Marvel and DC's bottom line. But we have a present. When I think of myself, when I was a kid, comics were cheaper back then, right? I might have had like 20 bucks a week to spend on comics. If there was a week where I only spent 15, that other 5, I didn't just go buy ice cream with. I would buy something else. I'm like, at the comic store, you know what? Maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll try Hellblazer. Maybe I'll try a Sandman. Maybe I'll try a Legion, and I try something else. But the case is now, say someone's got $40, which buys you like 2 comics. No, $40 at like $4 or $5 a comic. If you went into a store and you buying and there's a variant, it's like, oh, I got to get that variant. But if I get the variant to sell to somebody else, I can't break up my set. So I'm going to need 2 copies of that comic, 2 identical copies. So they have that limited amount of money, $40, but they're spending it on duplicate copies of something. And I think what Marvel and DC should be seeking is that they're spending that dollar on different series and different titles, hoping that they would develop an interest and then start to get it regularly. So, but I think it's just sloppy right now. There's just a lot of comics. Because there's so many comics, the quality is out the window as well. And if they refine it, it would hurt the creators. But at the same time, the creators would rise to the top, because obviously if you're dropping that number significantly down, and interestingly enough, it's DC's comics right now aren't all that different in the numbers wise than what they were producing like 30 years ago. But
they dropped down their numbers over the last couple of years.
They have dropped down, but there's comics. And again, I would do the caveat like with DC, when I'm thinking those limited series, you're gonna have one at all times that's either going to be Superman or Batman, except that you're going to have one at all time that can be those odd, like House of Mystery or House of Whispers or Books of Magic, kind of one of those things. You always have those rotating around, and then you rotate in something that's interesting, not just for sake of doing it. With Marvel, their limited series, I don't understand them at all. Like who's crying out for an America Chavez USA limited series?
Me.
Who's calling out for a Maestro limited series? Or
actually, that one's pretty popular.
Hulk fans
love Maestro. Man.
New Warriors, right? Like there's some things where it's just like seems like they're putting it out there to keep the
like the ones with Squarespace and fucking soft pants.
Well, I think the best example on your list there is that Taskmaster book, which is only coming out because he's the villain in Black Widow.
Taskmaster in the comics is a fucking joke. Well, at least more recent.
But those limited series right now for Marvel, it's 15. Well, they have 15. Right now they have 14 at present, and upcoming in September is 15. So out of their 69 comics, 40 are regular and 29 are limited series. I would probably give a little extra grace for Marvel. They'd have a little more than DC because they have the Star Wars titles. So I would put them separately. I wouldn't count them in that number. So maybe 4 Star Wars titles. And they're also trying to do some third-party things like Warhammer or Aliens or Predator, those kind of things. Again, those would be separate from these numbers as well. But
so you can't separate those, man. Fuck Marvel for even picking those up, man. Like Star Wars, maybe. But the fucking the Predator and Alien shit is going Marvel.
Yeah.
And
And
Warhammer.
then Conan. You had no business picking up fucking Conan.
Or Warhammer.
They just kind of
And,
mined it.
Well, Warhammer I don't mind either. Actually, for some
They
reason.
mined it from Dark Horse. I feel bad for Dark Horse because Dark Horse, their bread and butter was a lot of those properties, right?
Franchise.
And the
Mainly
Buffy the
with Star
Vampire
Wars, though,
Slayer
they'd be fucking
and
the
the
nuts with that one.
and the aliens and yeah, all those things that their properties they were doing them justice, right? Like they were putting a good effort in, and
they-
the rug
they-
kind of got pulled out from under them.
I was reading a bunch of Dark Horse Star Wars comics, like fucking what's it called was really good there. The fucking Jesus Christ, the one where it's is it Luke Skywalker's grandkid?
Legacy.
Yeah, exactly. Legacy was dope as shit.
Yeah, no, there's a bunch
Dark
of cool
Times was
ones.
pretty good.
They had one set in the Old Republic, which was great.
Yeah,
Can't remember.
the Old Republic.
No. Old Republic is pre.
Pre what? Dark Horse?
Or no, like pre. Maybe I didn't hear what you said, but it's
I
pre
think
everything.
the series was literally called the
But
Old
it
Republic.
did this the Disney Marvel acquisition of Fox, I think, did kind of really hurt Dark Horse.
Oh, yeah.
Because they've been putting out those when it wasn't cool, like when it wasn't cool, like they were putting out Aliens like in the 80s and stuff like
Actually,
For sure, and they ran a pretty good chunk of alien shit. I mean,
Alien stuff, and even
the worst was Star Wars. Didn't Marvel put I guess it's business, but they put a cease and desist order on all their old shit.
Yeah, so they can't. You can't.
Because
Are
even-
you kidding me? That's material that's just gonna go to waste. Like fuck
Yeah.
off, man.
even
Let 'em
even
sell it.
the Predator, when they did release the second limited series of Predator, it got such a good response that Predator 2, the movie, they kind of
got
took the
greenlit.
plot kind
Yeah.
of
So correct me if I'm wrong,
Oh,
but
took a plot from the comic.
yeah.
That's cool as shit.
correct me if I'm wrong, but aren't they? They basically just have Hellboy left at this point, right?
Who? Dark Horse?
For like big titles.
See, I don't even know if
would
Hellboy.
be
Well, it would
Hellboy.
be the Hellboy universe, right? Like
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah.
the BPRD or what they're calling it now. But that would be
Shit, I'm trying to think.
I think that's it, really, for like big titles. Ooh, Dark Horse it's not looking good.
they
Hasn't been looking good for Dark Horse
Yeah.
for a while.
they're trying they're trying because they were kind of a niche market already, and they're trying now. Their big competitor is Image. They're trying to be an Image where they have creator-owned titles and that kind of thing. But we kind of diverse. But that's it. Marvel, DC, stop putting out so many stinking comics. Stop putting out variant comics of I don't know who. You put out a variant comic and you have a theme. Like, okay, we're going to put out a variant comic of the Fantastic Four and Conan's going to be on the cover. Why is Conan on
my
the cover?
God, the
He's not
fucking-
inside.
Because why not?
Because
Why
you know
not?
what? Why don't we take Conan and make him work hand in hand with Scarlet Witch? Because he loves magic so fucking
Yeah.
much. He loves that shit. Thulsa Doom is his best fucking friend.
But yeah, that was I mean, you definitely made Sandy look bad.
Sorry, Sam.
Ouch.
It's not hard, really. So
But
that's
it-
a failure on you.
So that's how I fix comics. So I'm awaiting the call from Marvel and DC. I'll talk. We'll talk.
I'm waiting a call from fucking private investigators on scene from the fucking Batman filming so we can prove it's conspiracy theory correct.
They're going to release it when they want to release it. You know what would be amazing? Would be amazing is if they
put me
finished it and then release it on no notice, basically like a week's notice. That would be incredible.
It'd be awesome if they put up a
would
world
be
bat
amazing.
sign and it was like moves out.
All of a sudden, it's like, hey, guess what? We got a. I mean, some bands have done it with albums and stuff, but imagine that with a movie. Like, hey, guess what? We got a movie for you.
But,
Guess what? It might be a while for you to wait for the next episode, but we're at the end of episode 50.
Hey
I
man,
think.
we've been fucking pretty consistent in the 2020 COVID year, man.
Since we started up again, yeah.
Yeah, man, if you're one of the motherfuckers that's somehow still watching this shit right now, and you stuck around and seen at least, 3 of the 50 episodes we were talking about, fucking thanks for your fucking watches and shit, man. Fucking, we hope to be less conspirators than DC, because if we get
Conspiratorial.
COVID, we really got it, man. We really fucking got it. We ain't just saying.
If there's an empty chair next time, it will be with no explanation
Yes.
necessary.
But yeah, it sounds like we're winding down. Sandy, you want to lead us out?
Ah, okay, now put it on me again. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out.
Have you thought of any more spirit animals?
Yeah. Jesus.
Ooh, Sandy! I'm shocked you didn't bring up Dragon Ball as your favorite fucking cartoon show.
Yeah.
It literally came from
I mean,
a comic.
manga is at least closer. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like its origins. It's 100%.
Another fail.
Yeah.
Ouch, why is it just lining up the film? I'm just saying I'm shocked. You didn't do
That's
that.
Christian attitude, you know.
Goddamn Christian. Only
Yeah.
Jesus can carry it.
So yeah, thank you guys for coming out. Thank you for checking out our episode 50. Come back next time. We'll probably do what Marvel always does, and we'll probably start all over again. Episode 1.
With zero conspiracies.
Yeah, 0 conspiracies. All right, catch you guys later.
Shout out to Oakland. I don't know, man. Oakland's a dope ass city, but.